And do you, when you do stand-up, when you dabble in stand-up, do you...
I know. You know what, Kevin? Really, ditzy. You know the ditzy chick. I mean, look.
Wait, how did you get into the interview? How did she pitch you?
She asked to do my podcast a while ago. And
she wanted to be on your podcast.
Yeah, so we had her on really as a favor.
She tries to get on every podcast.
Yeah, so we had her on as a favor. Then she asked me to do hers, and I just heard you talking about the NFL. See, there you go, Chad. I could have said football, but I couldn't spit out the F, so I said NFL.
You called an audible.
Yeah. So anyway, but like I forgot about the thing. So I'm drinking 4 or 5 beers. I'm ready for the Chiefs. It's opening day of the NFL, and then I see it. A DM, I'll see you in 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh, damn. I forgot that I agreed to do this. And then the Zoom didn't work and I had to go upstairs. I couldn't watch the game. I was already not in a good mood. And then she's arguing with me about COVID and how the common cold kills more people. And, and it just sounds like a right-wing thing. And I'm like, why am I getting into freaking a political discussion with this ditz? And then she says, well, I hear you dabble in comedy. And I should have been funny about it. I admit, in hindsight, I should have said, yeah, I also dabble in breathing. Or I should have said, yeah, I also dabble in, in taking a shit. Usually comedy and taking a shit is at the same time. I could have said something like this, but instead I was like, wow, what the hell was that? That was disrespectful.
Is this whole interview going to be about Trump or...
If you really don't want to talk about it, I just figured.
I
thought you had done. I thought you had dabbled occasionally in stand-up, so that's why I brought that up.
I dabbled occasionally, really.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was a thing you were really doing or not, and I wasn't sure.
Oh no! I've been doing stand-up for 20 years. I don't dabble.
Okay, that's good.
I didn't know because Anthony Cumia always likes to take shots at me. So I got defensive, which I shouldn't have, because, he's always taking shots at my stand-up, even though, so I thought maybe it was something like that.
Yeah, that was from Artie. Didn't Artie start that more than Cumia?
Artie did, but Anthony just kept going with it. And
because Anthony's looking for shit, and, listen, they hired Artie. They were paying him $8,000 a week. So it's like,
Jesus
they're
Christ.
morons. They're morons, So it's not. It's so. I would just say Cumia will jump on a bit because it's fun for them, and it's fun. But it was more Artie's thing, Artie's beef with you than Cumia, and Cumia just jumps on it. But it wasn't like. I just always thought it was dumb because they're shitting on you and they're paying a junkie $8,000 a week. Like, what are you fucking talking? Like, Stuttering John's the problem? You're paying your fucking sidekick $8,000 a week, more than you pay everybody else combined. And you're shitting on John because why? Because he stuttered, or because why? His stand-up, or whatever the fuck, or because he lives in LA, or because he's a Democrat, whatever the fuck it was. It was like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah, and you know what, Kevin? I didn't know they were paying Artie that much money.
Neither did I.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't know until after the fact, but I know it's true because the guy who told me is a very reliable source. And I tweeted it one time, and Keith the Cop, who was the executive producer, used to be for Cumia, that network, he texted the guy. He's like, how does Kevin know how much we paid Artie? Because so that's how I knew that it's accurate, that he would get all bent out of shape.
And yet Artie would come in late. And yet Artie would come.
Artie showed up late for his announcement party. They were having an announcement party. All the guys that weren't going to be Cumia's sidekick showed up on time. Artie showed up late. They didn't see it as a red flag, and that he was fucking wearing dark glasses to his second show, and his nose, his right nostril was bleeding.
I know.
And fucking Rich Voss pointed out. It was like, it's funny till you go out of business. They thought their thing was going to take off when he went there. And the actual numbers, the net numbers went down. By the time he left, the numbers were down from before he got there. I guess they went up a little bit. People just kept canceling. So by the time he left, the numbers were down from before he went. So it was a complete shit show. So the fact that they're laughing and shitting on you, I was like, well, you guys are fucking real morons.
Well, wait a second. I have to ask you, Kevin. I don't know if you know, how many people do watch, Anthony Cumia?
I don't know. I mean, they don't tell because it's like a cult. The cult they don't give you. Scientology doesn't tell you how many people are Scientologists, or any cult. They keep their numbers close to the vest because they just I don't know. They don't want you to ask for more money, and they don't, and whatever. So they keep it very much on. But I mean, my source basically told me numbers, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But I know that the numbers kept dropping and dropped. The longer Artie stayed, the numbers kept going down because Artie would tell the Danny Thomas story every week, and it was like they couldn't. One week he started on a Thursday. They did Monday through Thursday. So the Thursday before they were done for the weekend, Artie told a hilarious story, and then the following Monday he told the same story, and they're like, oh, motherfucker. So, but they're shitting on you because you're a maroon. So it's just classic. It's fucking classic. Where like, what's up with Stuttering John? What's up with your junkie sidekick that you're paying $8,000 a week? Yeah,
Artie was there once, and he's goofing on me, and his knuckles all.
Doesn't he bring your kids into it too? He did that with me. I got into a little thing with him.
Anthony did. Anthony posted pictures. Anthony posted pictures of my kids, and goofed on my kids who are minors. Yeah. And who are not asking to be in front of the camera. I mean, really, I mean, that even the mob doesn't attack kids,
I know. I thought Artie started that because Artie started shit with Artie. I was getting in it before he worked at Compound. He started some shit with me on Twitter, and then he was talking about my kids. I mean, he didn't really say anything too bad, but I'm like, don't ever bring in, you fat fuck junkie. Don't ever fucking discuss my kids. First of all, I know where that fat fuck lives because I did his podcast, so I can give out his fucking address right on the show.
Yeah,
he lives in Hoboken. He lives in Hoboken, very close to 14th Street. I'm already giving clues, motherfucker.
Yeah, I've been there a bunch of times.
Very close to 14th Street. Yeah, so it's like Artie thinks he's got everyone like he owes everybody money, but they're shitting on you. Good call, junkie. Fat junkie. Usually junkies are at least thin.
Well, here's the problem, Kevin. I did Anthony's show, and Keith Maresca would pull me aside and go, you get the best feedback. And I did his show 10 times, and Anthony and I were like friends. I would hang out and play cards with him. Suddenly, as soon as Artie gets there, everything turns around, and then Anthony's on Artie's side goofing on me. I don't know what the hell happened.
No, it's just that he's being a good teammate, but it's like I just thought it was dumb for them to be shitting on you when his fucking sidekick. One time he went, they were doing 4 to 6 at the time. Artie left to go to the bathroom. He never came back, and then 15 minutes later they called him. He said, Artie, he goes, oh, I'm at the hotel. Can I just do it from here? So it's like, dude, hey, fat junkie, you're working 2 hours a day, so let's try to make this happen, as opposed to taking when you take a break at 5 o'clock and you never come back. So come on, man.
No, I know. It was kind of shocking to me, Kevin, because I always liked Anthony, and I don't have a problem with Anthony. I just don't know why. Like, I'm always the butt of the joke. Like,
he just did it. He did it because Artie was going after you. He did it to be a good teammate, and and his sidekick's going after. So he's got to be on his side of the feud. But I'm sure if Anthony saw you on the street, he would be like, yeah, that we probably took it too far, because he's not crazy. I mean, he and plus he knows how radio works, but it was just to me, it was laughable that they're shitting on you. Plus they're shitting on you. You're from the West Coast and you can't even defend yourself. And then they made it personal. And I was like, man, you guys are fucking stupid. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, Anthony finally did apologize to me on his show. I did his show, and but my brother was like, why would you do his show? He goofed on your kids. But I'm like, you know what? Because I don't need all the hate from the Cumia Compound people. Right. I just said, let's just bury the hatchet and move on. Because really, Kevin, I don't really want any problems with anybody. I didn't even want any problems with, Chrissy Mayr. I don't know. I don't know where it came from. Either she's stupid or she was trying to take a dig at me. I don't know. I mean, but I've been doing stand-up for 20 years now. I've been, I'm not saying I'm the greatest comic in the world, but I'm headlining like all over. Chad knows that I was supposed to be working with, Chad and was headlining Side Splitters. You know, they asked me back. So it's not like I'm bad or anything. You know what I mean? I don't get it. You know, dabble in comedy.
But you know what, Chrissy, to say I dabbled in stand-up is so disrespectful. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all. And yet you respect me and say I dabbled.
I mean, I could have picked a different word. I didn't know that it was your main thing, honestly.
I dabbled in stand-up. Okay. I mean that's so disrespectful, and I'm doing your show.
I honestly, I don't know the extent to which you do stand-up. I mean, isn't that the point of an interview? Is like, oh, you can correct me if I'm wrong about something.
No. You dabbled in stand-up when?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much stand-up you do, John. It was just an honest thing.
Places all over and say I dabbled in stand-up. Come on.
So you're more than a dabbler. That's fine.
The funny thing is, she's only been doing stand-up for 9 years, and she's just doing her boyfriend's club in like a couple spots around the city. She's not even a real comic.
I don't even know. I don't know anything about her. Do you, Kevin? Do you know anything about this?
I probably know more. I have her phone number. I'll give it out after the show. But I think no. I think now that she's working at Cumia, she's trying to be more like, you know, political or more right wing or more. But it's not even her, because I just think it's her boyfriend kind of telling her to be edgy. And, you know, if a woman's edgy, it's like that woman that they had. She does these videos, and she's from Long Island, and she's got blonde hair. Her name's Tina, I think. Chad, you know who I'm talking about?
Nope.
I mean, Adam, you know who I'm talking about? That Tina lady. She does all these things about how, like, Trump 2020 and, you know, fuck the mask. Like the other day she did a show, thing about mask, you know, today's maskless Wednesday. Nobody's going to wear a mask. So I think, and she was on, and I think Chrissy's boyfriend knows her. So maybe he's telling Chrissy, you got to go this route because you get a lot of attention. Mm-hmm. But Chrissy's not controversial because, I mean, I did her show. I did her show, and her whole show. We did a show at the Stand in New York, and we did it in front of an audience. You know, it wasn't a big audience, but there was like 20 people there. And she starts reading email questions. She goes, Kevin, Dan from Massapequa wants to know about, and I go, and I'm thinking, like, this is the show where you just read viewer mail? Like, what kind of a fucking show? Like, wait, you don't have any thoughts of your own? So that's what made me think it's her boyfriend, you know, telling her to be controversial, and because you know, if you're a girl and you're controversial, it stands out than if you're just another dude who's being like controversial right wing or right wing extremist. So I don't know if she's going that route, but that's my guess. And again, like the video that she put out where she said, you know, dabbling with you, it got a decent amount of action. So they're probably thinking, hey, we're doing the right thing, because if we did a straight interview with John, it's not going to get any attention, but this is, you know. So I guess, all right. So you don't want to talk about Trump anymore.
No, I'll talk about him, but I don't know why. I mean, I didn't know this was going to be a political, you know.
Oh no, that was not my goal either.
Oh, all right.
I've talked with a bunch of other comedians. Some people say he has been great for comedy. Some people think the Trump jokes are getting a little tired. It's a question that I was asking without it being like a triggering, you know, political thing.
You know, of you, and you, as a comedian. You know, you're a comedian, right?
Yes, I dabble.
Well, that's the weird thing. And this is where it really, like, because even after the interview, because, like, she cut it off, but, you know, I went for another 15 minutes, and then we were cool, and we just talked about things. And then after the show, I DM her and go, hey, that was fun, you know, let me know when it airs, and I'll retweet it. And then, so she lets me know, I retweet it, because I'm trying to be a good guy, you know? What does she do? She starts liking and retweeting people calling me an asshole. And I'm like, really? I do your show, I retweet it, and now you're going to retweet people trashing me?
She does the same to me.
Yeah. I mean, that's like that's a hell of a way to get guests. Shit on them and then retweet people who hate your guests.
Yeah, I kind of did that the other day, so I feel bad because we had Bonnie McFarlane on. And then some guy, we have a fan. His name he calls himself Billy Burr's Chopper. So he's Billy Burr's helicopter. So he just does funny tweets, you know. When he said he said Bonnie, you know, he basically didn't say anything bad about Bonnie. But then at the end he goes, "Hey, Rich Voss, if you need any work, let me know. I could use you as a caddy." So, you know, I saw, you know, Rich Voss plays a lot of golf, so he probably would be a good caddy. And he has a nice tan, so you don't have to worry about getting a sunburn. So I retweeted as a joke, and then Voss called the guy a troll. And then I was like, maybe I shouldn't retweet it. But if it's funny, it's funny. But I think in your case, they're just going after you because, you know, because Cumia and then the fucking and then, you know, and they just like to whatever. But yeah, but for Chrissy to just, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Chrissy's playing it like, hey, I'm just a dumb girl. And but then her boyfriend's probably like, you know what you should do? You should fucking, you know, retweet that and play it up as much as possible.
By the way, we're giving her what she wants right now. We're talking about her, which is
I know. Well, which is why I keep saying Ditzy, because I don't even want to say her name. But, you know, who is her boyfriend, Kevin? Because he kept on defending her on Twitter and trashing me.
Yeah, he jumps in on all.
I don't know where he is on Twitter. His name is Frank. His first name's Frank. But
it's Frank Pellegrino. Yeah, that's who it is. Because he kept on like retweeting all the crap she was saying.
And he has a comedy club, so I think he's like one of these guys. Hey, I'm a club owner, but I did his club, and it's like it was in a room. It was in Westchester somewhere. It was like a room in a bar or something. It wasn't very impressive. So he'll probably DM me for this, but I don't give a fuck. It's closed now. So yeah, but I think he's like egging her on, like, come on, you know, you're gonna get a lot of attention, and then SNL will see you do characters, and then
he wants to be famous so bad, and she never.
No,
will.
but here's the thing about the SNL thing. That's funny that I just brought, because the SNL thing is this: she's never gonna. First of all, she's not gonna. If she ever got any like an audition at SNL or whatever. She works at Compound Media. They're going to be like, you're right wing fucking. I mean, when Shane Gillis was up for the job at SNL, I said, oh, I saw him at the I still worked at Compound, and Shane had been working there. So I saw him at the stand again. I said, you don't do your show at Compound? He goes, well, I'm up for SNL, so I kind of want to keep everything clean. I guess he didn't keep everything clean enough. But the point is, he already knew to get away from fucking Compound Media if you want to go legit. It's like doing porn over there. It's hard to go from like there to like a more legit fucking thing. So Chrissy Mayr can be like, hey, I'm edgy as fuck. And it's like, okay, well, they're not going to, once they find out you have anything to do with Compound Media, they're going to be like, no, thanks. I mean, Shane did anything wrong. I mean, Shane didn't even do anything wrong. He just said whatever. I mean, he shouldn't have got in trouble, but the fact that he did get in trouble, it just goes to show, like, you got to be very careful. And they find out she's working at Compound Media. Please.
Hey,
done.
How did you end with Cumia, and why did you end?
I just ended because there was like 11 different reasons. And so I
got time.
I usually have one each show. Part of the reason he's like Cumia is great in person. Like, even when I would do my show, we would do the show before his show on Monday and Wednesday. So I'd always see him, at the studio, and he's funny as shit. And he's like real likable. But then his Twitter is like, dude, you can't run a business and be a right-wing extremist, because that's all you're going to appeal to. So it's like, and his Twitter wasn't funny. And like I was saying the other day, it's like, at one point he got kicked off Twitter, and he wasn't on Twitter for a couple of months, and it was kind of nice. It was like, okay, good, because it's like, I'm not right wing. I'm not a right wing extremist. Like, I'm an extremist, but I'm not right wing. So I don't vote Republican. So for me to be working there, I was supposed to only be working there as like temporary, like a bridge to something else. But then I stayed there longer and then the show became fun. But then I was like, there's no money there. They overpay Artie. They overpaid this other guy, Bill Schultz, the guy who used to work at Red Eye. He's another guy who got fired because he's a junkie. So I'm like, they don't. And then they hired E-Rock, that fat fuck E-Rock, and I was like, they'll never get rid of E-Rock. So I was like, once I saw the writing on a wall, I was like, yeah, no thanks.